Hey, this is the Hardest Question video blog, and I'm the Reverend Russell, and this is the Reverend Dr. Mark Stenberg, the senior contributing editor to the Hardest Question. And hey, what is it? We had some nomenclature issues, but I think we got
11C.
11C.
11C, that's it.
It's just 11C. And we are ordinary time, and we've got a really amazing text here in that there's just so much in it and so many different ways you could go. We're continuing the 7th chapter of Luke, verses 36 through 8:3. So what do we have here, Mark?
Well, there's a lot of decisions for the preacher to make. Do you like the general or do you like the particular?
Right.
You know, if you like the general, it's pretty clearly about Simon the Pharisee not seeing the woman.
Right. There's this big, quite a long narrative, and yeah, at the heart of it is Simon, who has invited Jesus in to eat with him, who does not regard the woman.
Who knows Simon's motives? Did he want to be a patron of Jesus? Was he kind of adopting him, betting on him?
Well, it seems to me,
You know.
it seems like he has, in Luke, and especially eating, you eat with who you are. Like, there's no way that this Pharisee would eat with Jesus unless he considered him at least somebody he could bring up to his level.
Right.
So we almost sees him as a Pharisee. So I think he does want to act as a patron to Jesus, this hip young rabbi all the kids are into,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The parable is really strange. The initial parable that Jesus tells: a certain creditor had two debtors, one owed 500, another 50. And Simon answered, "I suppose the one from whom we canceled the debt." And Jesus said, "You have judged rightly." Well, anyway, the big line is, now which of them will love him more?
And then Simon says, well, clearly the one whose larger debt was canceled.
Which is really odd definition of love.
It's really a horrible definition of love, especially coming from Jesus. I mean, for Jesus to define love in these economic terms.
Economic terms, like,
is something I want nothing to do with.
yeah. Do you love somebody more because you owe them less money than you used to?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think yeah. So, and the idea is that she was a sinner, and this woman from the city, who, it doesn't say that she's a prostitute, even though the history of interpretation has read her that way.
And the history of the interpretation reads us, my friend.
Yes, it does.
Our biases. It never says she's a prostitute.
No, but that's how it's been read. And so the idea
Yeah.
is like she was such a horrible, horrible, naughty woman.
Yeah.
That she had so much to be forgiven for.
Right.
And so she must love him more because she's so grateful.
Right.
And he's like just kind of a little bad. So he's not that grateful. So
Yeah.
So speaking of love in terms of debt, I don't think it's, yeah, I don't like it. I think it's hard that's the hardest question. Does Jesus see love in economic terms?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does it produce, yeah.
But then we have this other little thing here at the end that the lectionaries include.
Yeah, and I never saw it before. It's brilliant. It's only 3 verses, and it comes right. Luke puts it right here,
Yeah.
and it's this codified language about this big movement where Jesus is being supported. His patrons are not the Pharisees.
No, his patrons are not the Pharisees. It says, soon afterwards, after this incident, right, he went through the villages and city proclaiming the good news of bring the kingdom of God, and the 12 were with him, as well as some women who had been cured of evil spirits and infirmities. Then there's a list of them.
Mary, Joanna, Susanna, and many others who provided for them out of their resources.
So here's Jesus, really, this one Pharisee says, yeah, maybe I'll take you under my arms. But he's got this whole group of women, large group of followers, who take care of him.
And they were women who had been cured of evil spirits and infirmities, which means in the first century...
basically, you were born a woman in the first century.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been anything.
Yeah.
So Jesus is really like brought all these women together, this huge group of women, and they are his patron.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's brilliant.
We'd love to see what you do. That you preach the whole arc, just that end part. Or there's so many little things to tear apart here. Or ask Do we see love in economic terms? This has been the Hardest Question Videos blog. Yes.